It's about 8:45 now. Haven't heard a thing since about 7 o'clock. So I'm gonna actually work up the main mountain here. I figured, worst case, these two gobblers start gobbling again, but they're below me. I don't want them to be above me like they worked their way out of here. That was about 100 yards up. Could always work down on a bird. It's a lot more comfortable for me. And then there was that other one that was way up there earlier this morning that could potentially get fired up to my call. So I'm gonna work back up this mountain and find a place to set up for the rest of the morning here. Okay, got up another quarter mile up on this mountain, and now I'm looking down into where they crossed behind me earlier this morning. It's really nice looking stuff back in here. I'm actually running into a lot of fresh scratch, but from the looks of it, the way the leaves are pushed back, they're piled up opposite of the direction that they're walking, and these indicate that the turkey were going that way, although this morning they went that way. So I'm suspecting this is from last evening, these turkey working back onto this ridge and then pitching up into a tree to roost. So this is a pretty good looking spot, and as you can see, it kind of drops down just barely, but enough to hide me. So I'm going to set up on one of these bigger oaks just on the other side of this little dip. That way, theoretically, if they fire up again, they're going to walk the same route they walked yesterday night. And by the time they can see down into where I'm calling from, they'll be within range. So that's typically how I set up in every situation, like if I have the ability to do that, but sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. I'm gonna get set up here. We'll see what the morning has in store for me.
So what just happened there was I got sat down in this spot that I was talking about, just on the other side of this little ditch where that fresh scratch was. And not 15 minutes after I sit down, I hear leaves, like definite turkey scratching, coming up the mountain right at me. Next thing I know, I got 3 jakes coming right down my gun barrel, and I think that's the closest I've ever had a wild turkey to me. They got within 10 yards. They must have been about less than 20 feet. But they fed like a 20-30 foot circle around me. Kinda got nervous a couple times and just continued up the mountain. Never really left sight, but they did get behind me. And when they got behind me, I just kinda let them go. And what happened was, their footsteps in the leaves and them scratching covered up everything else. That's all I heard. And next thing I know, I hear fighting birds and clucks behind me about 60 yards. I look behind me right away, and those 3 jakes are fighting with 2 other jakes that must have came from high to low, like above me. And they were beating each other up pretty good. And they kind of chased each other up and down this ridge about 50 yards away from me. And then got down on the other side of this rise behind me. And at that time, I didn't know if they had come across the 2 toms that I was on, or what the heck was going on. I thought it was the 2 toms. So I started rotating myself, getting on the back of this tree, and getting everything situated to shoot one of these birds. And I started scratching my leg in the leaves to sound like a turkey scratching, and did really soft hen yelps. And I should have known something was a little fishy, because I never heard spitting or drumming or anything. And they worked right up the pipe again. Came to now 30 feet. This time they were kind of on to me. The sun shifted, and I was a little bit in the sun, despite being mostly covered up by this big oak. And they got a little uncomfortable. The first 3, which I confirmed were jakes, moved down around the other side of this rise. And when I saw the last 2 coming up, I put my gun up because, I thought they were the toms. And when I put my gun up, the other 3 jakes saw it, and they all putted a couple times and worked down around the other side of this rise. But they're cool as cucumbers now. They're back up there about 75 yards away, just feeding. You can probably hear the leaves still moving. What a cool hunt. What an awesome day. I don't even know what time it is. They must have, this whole ordeal probably took an hour or so. I mean, hopefully all this activity gets those toms back. There's no way those 2 that were the ones gobbling this morning. I know I got good footage of it, at least at one point, so I can check later if those were actually toms that I was on this morning, but they definitely sounded like it, without a doubt. I guess I'll wait out the rest of the morning, let these birds move off. Just enjoy the beautiful day. Well, I did a couple calling sequences, and those jakes came back there, right over there. Maybe just out of camera, but pretty interesting stuff that there's 1 standing, and the other 4 have bedded down like deer. It's pretty interesting. Anyways, just heard a gobble. Pretty far away, but first one since this morning.
Finally got him to gobble again. Hasn't responded to my calls. He had a crow started going off and he gobbled to that, but bad thing is that I don't have any more public to work with in that direction. So I'm just gonna bank on trying to call him in. I really got to get rid of these jakes though. I don't really want to spook them, but I'm not sure what else to do. And it's so interesting. It's literally like sleeping like a deer. Never seen or heard of that before. Calling not so much to get him in. I need to figure out if he's up here or down that way. If he's down that way, I can get lower. These gobbles were far and it's just windy enough to cover it up, so. About 11:30 now. Got those jakes to get out of there. I didn't really spook them all too bad. I just made a lot of weird noises, snapping sticks and beating the ground. They never really saw me, never even putted. I heard this gobbler fire back up way on the private a couple times. I've been walking now, so I'm not 100% sure if he's gobbled or not. But I definitely marked this spot back here. There is so much turkey sign, so much fresh scratch and droppings. It's insane. So right now I'm getting back down to the main trail. I got about an hour to hike. I'll have about an hour to hike out before end of hunting time. So see if he's gobbling, see if he wants to cooperate. Otherwise, pretty awesome day. Be back here as soon as I can. Alrighty folks, working back on the main trail here, and it's about 12:30 now, and I still got about 2.5 mile hike out of here. What an awesome day. I mean, I'm not upset at all that I didn't get it done. I tell myself in the beginning that if I do end up filling my last tag here in West Virginia, I want it to be some really good footage and something I can really like tell what's going on and, you know, just up the quality. So I'm not too upset because, you know, one, footage, but most of all, they never really presented a good shot this morning. And had those 5 jakes come in, like 3 times they did, and then the last bit of gobbling way on the private basically decided just too short a time right now with only being able to hunt till 1 p.m. It's a tall order to try to pull a gobbler, whatever 300-400 yards, whatever distance he was on the private there. I'm working down this trail, just doing some intermittent calling and seeing if I can strike one up, but it really looks like this is going to be the end of my hunt for today. Definitely be back out here at least 1 or 2 more times, hopefully 3 at the max, I think. Hopefully I can fill my last tag and tag out of West Virginia too. That'd be really awesome. Either way, I really appreciate y'all watching today, and I'll see you from the woods next time. Well, folks, West Virginia definitely ended on some really good action. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get it done out there towards the end of the season. Had those few really good hunts, and it just didn't pan out. But that's okay. I had an incredible time hunting out in West Virginia. It was such an amazing adventure, and I really appreciate y'all following along for that story. And the whole traveling turkey hunting thing is definitely something I'm going to be doing probably for the rest of my life. It is March 8th here in Virginia. We got about 30 days until opening of Spring Gobbler, and you know, I'm counting down the days. Couldn't be more excited. Got out this afternoon and checked the spread on the shotgun. Things are looking really good. It's shooting great, and you know, I just can't wait for those nice spring mornings out in the turkey woods. That's all for now, guys. I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see you from the woods next time.